My wife has a 99-year-old aunt in Tucson, Arizona. She thought it was a shillelagh, and I liked the heft of it, so she said I could have it. She got it from her father, who was General Aikens, two-star general under MacArthur.
Created centuries before, sustained Western contact with the Arctic. This extraordinary Inuit carving reflects the sophistication of indigenous Arctic craftsmanship. Dating roughly between the 12th and 15th century, the object was carved from walrus ivory and is believed to be the handle of an adze, a woodworking tool that once held a jade blade secured to the haft with leather lashings. Its curved form fits naturally in the hand, revealing the refined ergonomic design often found in Inuit tools. The surface features intricate circular inlays made from walrus ivory and dark mineral material, a technically demanding decorative style linked to the Oakvik culture and Old Bering Sea culture. In the Arctic world, where carving materials were scarce, objects like this carried both practical and ceremonial meanings. With its sculptural beauty and exceptional craftsmanship, the piece stands as a remarkable survival from the artistic traditions of the ancient Arctic.
I think a conservative retail price for this object would be between $30,000 and $50,000.
My wife's not going to believe that, but she's out there somewhere watching.
It is a tribal war club from an island in the Pacific. It's been in my family for generation after generation.
Was there a tradition with your family of sailing to the Pacific? Were there some whaling people?
Yes, we come from a family of whalers.
Across Polynesia, weapons often symbolized prestige and authority as much as warfare itself. Was carved in the early 19th century from dense casuarina wood, commonly known as ironwood, a material prized for its exceptional hardness. The wood was darkened by placing it in taro fields before being polished with coconut oil, creating the rich black surface seen today. The finely carved geometric motifs closely resemble Marquesan tattoo patterns associated with lineage. At the top, the stylized human head form reflects the spiritual importance of the human figure in Polynesian culture, a recurring element in Marquesan art. Though fully functional as a weapon, the u'u also served as a high-status object carried by elite warriors. With its refined carving, deep patina, and strong cultural symbolism, the piece stands as an exceptional example of Polynesian tribal art.
I think a conservative retail price would be between $30,000 and $40,000.
Oh, that's pretty up there.
Right.
I would never have guessed that.
Some with a much bigger head and some with more animals or something like that, or clan marks on them.
It belongs to my husband. 30 years ago or so, he and his family were helping some people clear their house out. He found it. It was something that he liked, and he asked if he could have it, and they said yes, and here it is.
Carved from a stone prized for thousands of years, this ancient spear point offers a glimpse into the earliest human cultures of the North American plains. Found near Mandan, North Dakota, the piece was crafted from Knife River flint, a prehistoric stone material valued for its sharpness and distinctive translucent quality. Archaeologists broadly date the point between the Archaic period and the Woodland period, possibly as early as 8000 BC. The blade's form reflects a period when indigenous hunters were adapting to life after the Ice Age and developing new hunting traditions. Knife River flint came from a limited area in western North Dakota and became an important trade material across prehistoric North America. The careful flaking and balanced symmetry of the point reveal the remarkable skill of its maker, while its survival in such fine condition adds to its importance. More than a hunting tool, the spear point remains a direct connection to some of the oldest human history on the Great Plains. This example stands as an exceptional piece of prehistoric Native American archaeology.
I think on a retail basis, this tomahawk would sell in the range of about $30,000.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
It's really fabulous. Thank you so much for bringing it.
Oh, no problem. I didn't expect that at all.
Well, I went on vacation up at Lake George, New York, and I saw it in a store that was going out of business, and they used it as a display piece. They had a for sale sign on it. I went home from vacation and I thought about it. I went back up to Lake George like 2 days later and I bought it.
More than simple riding equipment, Great California saddles were built as expressions of craftsmanship, status, and Western identity. This exceptional saddle, made before 1899 by legendary California maker D.E. Walker of Visalia, California, represents one of the finest traditions in early Western saddle making. Saddles bearing the D. Walker maker's mark remain highly prized for their balance, durability, and refined workmanship. This example features beautifully hand-tooled leather, silver-mounted decoration, and classic tapaderos. The protective leather stirrup covers associated with California riding traditions. 1. Much of the silver work, including the distinctive longhorn motif, is believed to have been produced by Shreve and Company of San Francisco, one of California's best-known silver firms. A later buckle from celebrated Hollywood outfitter Edward H. Bolin suggests the saddle continued to see use well into the early 20th century. Rarely do pre-1900 California saddles survive with this level of originality and craftsmanship. More than functional tack, the saddle stands as a remarkable example of classic California horsemanship and Western artistry.
If this came up at auction, 25 to 30,000.
Wow. That's quite a good investment I made then back in the 70s.
Yeah, you did okay.
25 to 30,000. That's awesome.
And you got to enjoy it.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
you know, it's a great thing.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I know it's a Visalia saddle. It was given to my great-grandfather by a Brigadier General, John Coster, who was in the California State Militia. My great-grandfather worked for General Coster at the California Barrel Company. The general kind of took him under his wing and was somewhat of a mentor and gave him this saddle as a gift.
At the height of California horsemanship in the late 19th century, master saddle makers transformed riding equipment into works of art. This exceptional Visalia stock saddle outfit, dating from the 1890s to early 1900s, represents the finest traditions of California vaquero craftsmanship and silver-mounted tack. Made by the legendary Visalia Stock Saddle Company, the set includes a saddle, bridle, bit, spurs, and matching riding gear created as a custom outfit for Brigadier General John Coster of the California State Militia. Nearly every piece carries a K marking for Coster, confirming its special commission. The saddle retains remarkable original details, including a horsehair cinch marked Walker, Visalia, California. The bridle follows the classic California vaquero style, with closed reins and a romal, while the engraved silver bit and spurs feature delicate pierced filigree decoration rarely seen on working riding gear of the period. Complete California silver mounted riding rigs of this quality are extremely rare, especially examples preserved together with documented family history and original components intact. More than functional tack, this outfit reflects the elegance and prestige of early California riding culture.
So, I mean, the whole rig, $16,000 on the low end, $22,000 on the high end.
I think I crawled all over this thing as a kid. Yeah, it's been a great heirloom to have in the family.
It's wonderful. I mean, it is the top of California saddle making.
Was sitting on a workbench in a garage at a garage sale amongst tools and junk. I knew it was going to be mine, regardless of the price.
Did you know what it was?
I knew it was Native American. I asked the gentleman how much it was, and I said, I'll take it.
Hidden beneath layers of age, paint, and wear, Native American war clubs often carried meanings far beyond combats. This striking ceremonial club from the Great Lakes region, likely dating to around 1850, reflects the artistic traditions and symbols of authority found among woodland indigenous cultures, probably carved from ash wood. The club features an elegant twisting form with a large rounded head, a style associated with Great Lakes war clubs used as symbols of warrior identity and status. The surface still preserves traces of original decoration, including black pigment. One side features a star motif formed with brass pinheads, while the carved animal figure near the end, likely an otter, shows historic damage where the head was broken away long ago. Though no longer intended mainly for battle, the piece stands as an outstanding example of 19th century Native American material culture.
I would easily expect it to bring $15,000 to $20,000.
What?
So a fair amount of money, and a good buy at the sale.
Yeah, I'm so glad I stopped at that garage sale.
Yeah, no kidding.
I am thrilled. I am absolutely shaking.
My grandmother had this all wrapped up in her closet. Samuel Kirkwood was my great-great-uncle, and he was the governor of the state of Iowa.
Objects tied to major figures of the American frontier rarely survive with such strong historical associations. This ceremonial pipe tomahawk, dating to the 1870s or early 1880s, is traditionally linked to Sitting Bull and Samuel J. The brass head functions as a weapon, while the pipe bowl symbolizes peace and ceremonial exchange, making pipe tomahawks important status symbols within native cultures. The haft, likely made from hickory or ash, retains a rich, untouched patina and is decorated with brass trade tacks and file-burned decoration. Details commonly seen on late 19th century plains examples. Though likely made for presentation rather than combat, the tomahawk still follows traditional construction methods and preserves strong historical character. Its connection to Sitting Bull, leader of the Hunkpapa Lakota, adds even greater significance to the piece. With its symbolism, craftsmanship, and association with important historical figures, the tomahawk stands as a remarkable artifact of the American frontier.
This tomahawk would sell for in the neighborhood of $12,500.
Wow, okay.
It's terrific. I'm so happy you brought it.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to show it to everybody.
It was my aunt's, and when she passed, I wanted to inherit it from her, and all I know was down in a rec room, hanging there for years.
For the Maori of New Zealand, Weapons were often symbols of authority, as much as instruments of war. This remarkable Kotiate war club, dating from around 1830 to 1850, reflects the deep ceremonial and cultural traditions of Maori warrior society, referring to the distinctive shape of the weapon, which resembles the two lobes of a liver. Carved from whalebone, the club has a smooth surface and rich natural patina developed over generations of handling. Insets of paua shell add striking visual contrast, while the carved figure near the handle represents a traditional Maori mythological form. Though compact, the weapon was designed for close combat and powerful hand-to-hand strikes. The pierced hole at the center once held a wrist thong to prevent the weapon from slipping during battle. Fine Maori weapons from the 19th century are increasingly scarce, especially examples carved from whalebone. With its elegant form, ceremonial importance, and strong sculptural presence,
This item could be expected to fetch between $12,000 and $15,000.
Wow.
Polynesian art has become a very hot ticket.
I purchased this bridle approximately 30 years ago. The person I purchased was the granddaughter, and her grandfather had obtained the bridle. He was an Indian scout, and he had a Navajo friend who gave the grandfather the bridle.
in the 19th century American Southwest, horse equipment often carried as much meaning as the rider himself. This exceptional Navajo bridle, dating to around the 1870s, reflects a blend of Navajo craftsmanship with Spanish, Mexican, and Plains Indian influence. The piece features an early Mexican ringbit and silver plaques decorated with rocker engraving, a technique strongly associated with early Comanche and Kiowa horse gear. At the center hangs a prominent naja, the crescent-shaped symbol that traveled from Moorish Spain through Mexico into southwestern native art. Small scoop-shaped ornaments and geometric motifs further reflect the artistic exchange between Navajo and Plains cultures during the 19th century. Remarkably, the bridle still retains its original leather components, something rarely seen on examples of this age. More than functional horse equipment, pieces like this were prestige objects associated with respected riders and warriors. Museum-quality early Navajo bridles are extremely scarce. With its original construction and early silverwork,
quite like some of the other things on the market, but I think it would easily bring $10,000 to $15,000 at auction.
Wow.
Oh.
This is an Eskimo Inuit hunting bow that I acquired from a fellow collector in California about 35 years ago, who had acquired it at Brimfield, where the dealer said that was collected by an RCM.
built for survival in one of the harshest environments on Earth. This remarkable Inuit hunting bow reflects the ingenuity of Arctic indigenous craftsmanship. Likely made between the late 18th and early 19th century, the bow was probably created in coastal Alaska or the Canadian Arctic for hunting seals, sea lions, and walrus. The construction is exceptionally sophisticated. The lower section is formed from split musk ox horn reinforced with hand-forged iron rivets, while the upper portion is wrapped in animal hide, likely seal skin. Along the back are tightly bound cords of twisted animal sinew, valued for extraordinary strength and flexibility. This reinforced structure allowed the bow to generate tremendous power while resisting breakage in severe Arctic conditions. Both ends are strengthened with walrus ivory, And irregular shaping marks suggest parts of the bow were finished using stone tools rather than modern metal files. With its ingenious construction and cultural importance, the piece stands as an exceptional example of Arctic indigenous art.
This bow, it's magnificent, would be valued in the neighborhood of $8,500. Would be very, very difficult to replace this. I think 10 to 12,000, I think would be very appropriate insurance value. It's just superb.
Wonderful to know.
Call it a pipe tomahawk. Bought it at the estate sale at Colgate, Oklahoma.
Did you throw down a lot of money for it, or?
No, I paid $33 for it.
I see.
Combining the symbols of war and peace into a single object, the pipe tomahawk became one of the most recognizable status items carried by native peoples of the American plains and southern regions during the 19th century. This example, dating to around 1870 to 1875, reflects both practical craftsmanship and ceremonial importance. The tomahawk features a forged metal head paired with a hollow ash wood haft, allowing it to function as both a weapon and a smoking pipe. While examples like this were sometimes ceremonial rather than intended for combat, they remained important symbols of authority and leadership within native communities. The haft is decorated with early brass trade tacks, many still retaining their original brass shanks rather than later steel replacements, an important detail that helps confirm the age of the piece. The untouched surface and deep patina give the tomahawk strong historic character and authenticity. Pipe tomahawks from the Plains period remain highly collectible today, especially examples preserving their original materials and decoration. With its classic form, aged surface, and symbolic dual purpose, this piece stands as a fine example of 19th century Native American frontier artistry.
They go for between $8,000 and $12,000 in an auction situation. So pretty good 33 bucks, I guess.
Wasn't a bad investment.
No.
I have a quiver with a bow and arrows purported to be made by Geronimo, and it is signed by Geronimo. It was passed down through a dear family friend whose grandfather we think was a Texas Ranger.
By the late 19th century, Geronimo had become one of the most famous Native American figures in the United States, and his name created strong demand for objects linked to him. This bow case and quiver set, dating to the late 19th or early 20th century, reflects both Apache craftsmanship and the commercial trade surrounding legendary indigenous leaders during the final years of the American frontier. Though associated with Geronimo, the set was most likely made by a mescalero Apache artisan rather than the warrior himself. Made from tanned deerskin with yellow ochre dyed fringe. It includes a traditional bow, arrows, and lane stitch beadwork, a technique commonly used on pieces created for trade and public sale. With its authentic signature and classic Apache form, the piece remains a remarkable artifact from the closing years of the American West.
At a public auction of American Indian material, $6,000 to $8,000.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's a nice thing.
This
Saddle was given to me when I was 4 years old by my grandfather, who was good friends with Pedro Gonzalez, who was the bullmaster in Nogales. And Granddad went down and decided to tell this gentleman that he has a beautiful granddaughter and he would like to give her something very special.
Richly decorated charro saddles have long been symbols of pride, horsemanship, and craftsmanship in Mexican riding culture. This remarkable Mexican saddle, likely made in the late 1930s or 1940s, reflects the elegance and prestige associated with traditional charro equipment from the Guadalajara region. The saddle features extraordinary handmade details throughout. The tree is constructed from mesquite wood, while the underside is embroidered with woven maguey cactus fiber, a labor-intensive material rarely seen in such elaborate form. The silver-mounted elements, including the stirrups and conchos, were handcrafted in Amazoc, Mexico, a town famous for charro silverwork and saddle-making traditions. Burn marks around the horn reveal actual use with a magi rope during roping exhibitions, a sign of skilled charro handling. The silver-chiseled decoration and detailed tooling show that the saddle was intended for ceremonial riding and special occasions rather than everyday ranch work. High-quality charro saddles of this type remain highly collectible today, especially examples preserving their original silver mounts and embroidery more than riding equipment. This saddle stands as a beautiful example of traditional Mexican charro artistry.
Where people know what it is, it would be an easy $6,000 to $8,000.
Wow.
So, you know, pretty good present from somebody.
Yes.
Well, it was a prize saddle won by my grandfather in 1914, and it has just been in the family since. Actually, they had it, and then I was given it.
I see. And what did he win it for?
He won it in a 3-day horse race.
Before rodeo trophies became belt buckles and cash prizes, championship saddles were among the highest honors a rider could earn in the American West. This remarkable rodeo saddle, awarded in 1914 after a demanding 3-day horse race competition, survives as an important piece of early rodeo history. The saddle was made by Miles City Saddlery of Miles City, Montana, one of the best-known Western saddle makers of the early 20th century. The company originally operated under the name Cogs Hall Saddlery before changing to Miles City Saddlery in 1909, helping confirm the saddle's early date. Decorated with nickel-silver trim, the saddle features the classic bronc rider motif still associated with rodeo culture today. The cantle is marked with the name of the competition and the 1914 date, while an original photograph showing the rider using the exact saddle adds exceptional historical value. Early rodeo saddles rarely survive, especially examples with strong family history and documentation. Built for speed and durability, the saddle reflects a period when rodeo events were closely tied to ranch skills and horsemanship. More than a competition prize, the saddle remains a lasting symbol of early Western rodeo culture and frontier craftsmanship.
If it came up for auction today, easily $3,000 to $5,000.
Right.
And possibly more.
Right.
So he didn't have to chase him down and rope him like everybody else did.
No, he just whistled and here came old Dan.